This is the Tirz board meeting. Tirz number 2.
Okay. You done this before, Richard?
I guess I was just, not this magnitude, but we'll do it.
All right.
I call the meeting to order.
Yep. Tell your board members to shut up.
Board members, we're calling the meeting to order, please.
You can if you want to. You don't have to do an invocation.
All right, we'll skip the invocation.
All right. And then we don't have any visitors signed up. You didn't sign up, did you? No. Okay. All right. You got to say it.
All right, so we're on item 4.
Yes, sir.
Consideration and possible action. 4A, presentation of project and financing plan.
All right, so y'all received this in your packets. Julie Barron's, our finance director, put this presentation together, and I'll go through it just quickly. This is our Tirz zone number 2. She kind of goes over more than we need to with y'all, and the kind of the overview of everything. So if you want me to, I can go through that. Your lawyer and Clifton have kind of walked through this process with us, I think several of y'all, for the last 3 years, I guess. So Tirz set up by Chapter 311. You all are a board creation. There's 5 members here and then 2 other members, a state senator and a state representative, for which they don't usually elect to send someone in their stead. So it will just be y'all for the most part. It is that geographic area for the 100 acres that you all purchased. This is our second Tirz. What is a Tirz? I'm not going to go through all this stuff. So we'll go through the specifics of your plan. Essentially, you all have a 60-40 split for the next 30 years on the O&M, the operations and maintenance tax. This does not include the INS, the interest in sinking. So everybody in Kerrville pays their debts. So the portion that will go back to pay back that 32 million, 27 million in infrastructure is going to be that 60% of the operations and maintenance tax. And that's going to cover the cost of the public works, public improvements, and there is also a separate economic development agreement with our EIC for $5 million for regional infrastructure that you're going to be putting in. Again, the increment is just that base value, right? That base value always goes to the city, the county, school districts. There's $950,000-ish set for this property. And then everything beyond that, we will retain 40% and 60% will go back to Lennar over those 30 years. What she gave, this is a good one for the council. So if you really want to know this, I'm happy to talk to you guys a little bit further. I can send you the presentation as well. But just this talks through the legalese of it all. So creation of the ordinance and the project and financing plan. So right now we have the project and financing plan, which will need to be approved by this body and then approved by the city council through an ordinance. We do our ordinances first reading and second reading. And first reading goes at the first meeting of the month. So because our next council meeting is next week, it's too early for us to have that on there. So this will go the first meeting in October, and then second meeting will be the last reading for it, and then it's final, and we're off and running. So we have the boundary, the term, the board, and then the project financing plan. So we know the boundary, we know the term, 30 years, you all are the board, and then before you, you have that project and financing plan. Oh man, I'm definitely not going over all that. If you want to refer to section 311.016 of the Texas Tax Code, you can look through all this information. It's very detailed and very thorough. All right, so first actual action on this was November of 23, man, and that was a long time to get to that point. So, council approved the ordinance annexing the property, creating the Tirz. EIC then in December approved the contract to grant $5 million for the infrastructure. The next day, they approved the EIC grant agreement at council, and in January, they approved the development agreement, which is the second item on your agenda. All right, So this is more for my council because everybody here should know what your project is, that 100 acres, 100.36 acres. 490 homes is the plan, and the minimum lot size we have is 35 feet. So we do have in that development agreement, the inclusion of, I think it's the water mill collection. Thank you. It's been a minute. And so the set price for the homes is going to be not to exceed basically the 120% valuation that's set by HUD each year. And for whatever reason, Clifton, I don't know that they haven't set that this year yet.
No, I've been looking at, they're behind their typical timeframes.
It came out September 1st, and I think it's 273, went down a little bit.
Okay, and based on our agreement, the number can't go down each year based on the HUD revaluations. So 275 will be the number for this year as a max for y'all, is my understanding. I have to verify that, but that's, I think, the way we wrote that in.
Yes, sir. That's my understanding as well.
Yeah, okay. So initially, we had 80% and 120 shown, and I think most of us know that the 80% is hard for y'all to build. So I don't think we included it in this latest version, so it just has the cap of the 120 number. Here's our boundary based on what y'all have right there. Tax year is 23. The term is 30 years, ending in December 31st, 2053. Again, 60% to the developer, 40% to the city, not to exceed that $27,800,000. Our estimates on that, because it's all just an estimate, is that number is going to be somewhere between 10 and 14 million, based on the appraisals of the property and then what the corresponding M&O valuations will be set by the councils. But obviously, we don't know what that's going to be in the future. Here's a whole bunch of information, basically the breakdown of the public infrastructure costs that you all are going to incur as a part of this process. And, all right, y'all's consideration approval of the project financing plan, council's approval of the project and financing plan. Still have to acquire that property, right? KCAD gave us the base valuation, and then this goes to the comptroller after all that's done and provided to the appraisal district. And you all will meet to approve project expenses after all that's set and done. And then I think you have to meet annually, at minimum annually, right? And that's it. I didn't even make this presentation, and I nailed it.
Crushed it.
So if y'all have any questions, Trina and Jacob from finance are here, as well as the attorney. And I know y'all have your attorney here with you. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mott.
Awesome. Any discussions?
I'm good.
Can I get a motion from the floor?
I motion to approve the project and finance plan.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in
Who was
favor?
this second?
That was Josh.
Skates.
Okay. So
All in
Clifton
favor?
Karen,
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
AARAN.
Any opposed? No, motion carries.
You guys deny your own plan, it's gonna be your own fault.
I was trying to be formal. All right. I'm moving on to item 4B, which is the presentation of the development agreement.
It's in the agreement as 24, it was in there as 23, wasn't it? Yeah, okay.
I think the presentation's at 20, but it's 20.
Yeah, but the plan itself, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, James.
After you made the motion, and the plan, by the way, so.
I made sure it was clean first, they made the motion.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this slide, back. Here, okay, so if you look at that last bullet point down there in January of '24, this development agreement that you have in front of you was approved by the city council, so this was in concert with your legal and Clifton, and so kind of hashed out all of these details in here, and so this is a process you all have to go through for the Tirz, but this is something that Lennar and the city have already worked through as far as the development agreement is concerned. So if y'all have any questions about it, your attorney is here, my attorney is here, Clifton is here. We can kind of answer some of those minutia questions. But any changes to this, I don't think are possible. Or if they're happening, they would have to happen at a later date, and all of this would be delayed, so, yeah. So, with that, Mr. Mott, I will turn it back over to you, sir, for any
Awesome.
questions.
All right, any questions related to the development agreement? Hearing none, I open it for a motion.
A motion that we approve the Wind Ridge Project Development Agreement?
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Scopes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Josh Scopes.
All right, we're on to
Clifton started it.
5, which is executive session. I
You
don't.
do not have items for executive
yeah,
session today.
so nothing there.
Not
Item
sure they
6.
ever will.
Possible action item discussed in executive session. Obviously, there's no.
I would say that probably setting a date for next year's meeting, or well, really, it's the meeting for next time that you all get together. Once council approves the ordinance, so it'll be sometime in November, I would say.
Beginning of November.
Yeah, beginning of November, so it might be a good idea now to set up, that you would meet in November. We can coordinate with finance and work on dates that work for everybody, understanding it's a holiday, right? So try to probably do that at the beginning of November. So if y'all want to do that, motion to set a meeting for November or December, it's up to y'all. But you'll have to meet.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion for the next meeting? I mean, do we don't?
Y'all don't have to pick
we don't
a
pick a date. We
specific
just need to
date
say we have to
today,
meet
because we'll
between-
post the agenda, and so we can coordinate. We'll send out a calendar for several days and figure out what day works.
Okay.
Really, you guys tell us, once you coordinate. You don't have to do it today. So we'll set it for the month of November if you want to, and then get that final date later.
You know, it only took us 4 months to get this meeting, so.
We could set it for February if you want to.
My shift.
Yeah, I think November's a good time for
Well,
that. I mean, or should we choose?
What I would say is we motion to set it in November or December,
Okay,
and that way we have some flexibility between those 2 months to get it done.
that's a veteran move. I like it. Is that good with you, Mike?
That's fine. We just need the, yeah, so we'll
Take the
put it
notes.
on there for, yeah, we have what we need.
So, no action required on that then?
No action required.
Okay.
Awesome. Items for future agendas, which I guess we talked about the next meeting. Is there any other items we need to discuss?
I don't think so. I mean, when you'll do the submittals probably near the end of completion of Unit 1, right? So, I mean, that's not gonna be,
Yeah. We'll get on a rotation and we'll do an
Right.
annual submittal.
but we're probably not gonna have anything before November, December,
No,
review cost-wise.
I mean, we only have engineering dollars at this time. I'm not sure it makes sense to
Yeah.
file it this time.
Until council approves anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine you'd want to meet.
There wouldn't
You
be
can.
time. Wouldn't even be time to put it together, so.
Yeah. So,
Well, we'll have submittals for the next board meeting after the November one.
okay.
Yeah.
James, anything you can think of for the next meeting that we need to flag?
Even if you have these submittals can be anytime.
Yep.
The city has a timing on paying them, but you guys can submit. That's something good.
We gotta create that Valorem before it really matters, so.
All right.
All right, so with that, I will adjourn the meeting. And it is 9:16.
Look at that.
All right.
All right, thank y'all.